Are you looking for more out of your life? Do you need ideas on how to start new businesses and how to move forward in your own personal life? Well, guess what? You have come to the right radio show. At You Can Overcome Anything podcast show, you will learn and hear from many people from all walks of life who are sharing their challenges, their stories, the habits, and the mind shifts they had to overcome to become who they are today. On top, you will get a chance to connect and see how you can overcome anything by networking and learning about your next move through this radio show. I present to you our great speakers at You Can Overcome Anything podcast show with your host, Cesar Espino. Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. It is your host, Cesar Espino, and you can find me at www.cesarrespino.com. And today I have a guest. His name is Eric Martel. Hey, Eric.
How are you, Cesar?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for being here today.
Uh-huh.
So let me give you a little bit of a background on Eric, just so you guys can kind of get an idea, and then we'll definitely dive into the interview. So Eric purchased his first apartment building at just at the age of 18 years of age, and while still at the university. After graduation in his position as an actuary, he saw hundreds of companies' pensions plans being rolled over into the 401k, shifting the retirement risk to employees. This made him reconsider traditional beliefs about retirement saving. Later, after joining the technology industry and during the dot-com crash of 2001, lost a fortune. This is when he started looking for ways to earn passive income and stop trading time for money. Started numerous businesses, including a gourmet sauce company, and eventually came back to real estate investing, which is where you started at the age of 18, right?
Yeah.
So that's amazing. I definitely want to get to all of that. And I guess if you can give us a little bit of background of where are you from originally and how was your growing?
Yeah, I'm from Montreal initially, and actually I was born in a small town in northern Quebec. But really, I'm from in Montreal, and then I moved to Toronto, and and then eventually I moved to California on a transfer when I was working for a company, an enterprise software company.
Got it.
And so with that, I mean, this is when. Yeah, so I started very early near Montreal with my apartment building, and it was pretty good. But at that point, when I bought the apartment building, it's not like I had like a global plan to achieve financial freedom. I was young, and for me, it was really because my parents were really living paycheck to paycheck, and this was really a proof that it was possible for me to make money differently than having a paycheck and all of that. So, so that was pretty important to me. And I had a mentor at the time too that was really helping me and telling me that, yeah, this is okay. Yeah, you're doing fine. This is what you need to do and all of that, and kind of like guiding me every step of the way. So that was these two components together really, pushed me into that direction. And later on, and now in life, a few years later, then I'm back into real estate. And so that's working very well.
Yeah, definitely. So let me ask you something, kind of going back to your younger years when you were, I guess, in Canada. You said your parents were living paycheck to paycheck. And I believe that sometimes the way we the family we are born into, or the society or the environment that we are part of, right, that more or less determines or creates our reality, or at least we perceive it as that. And
Absolutely.
So for you, how did that shift it? Because, you could have either say, well, this is kind of like going to be my life, and, I'm going to stay with, these values or these beliefs or whatever that might be, and kind of work and live paycheck by paycheck, or you shifted that. And so I want to understand more of how did that shift come about?
Yeah. And really, this is very interesting because I'm publishing a book, and
Nice.
this is part of it is about that. Is about kind of like how was I able to shift from the paycheck to paycheck, and from all the beliefs that we are, that we're learning from our parents, that we're learning from our friends, that we're learning from our teachers, and all of that. And how do we shift that? How do we kind of like filter these things out if they don't bring you to where you want to be? And so one of the key points for me when I realized that I basically realized that I was missing something. I was missing some information. I saw that there was another game going on that I was not a part of. And it's really when I went to high school, and then I started learning about the stock market. I had a geography teacher that was a big student of the stock market. And so he was teaching us about it. I created an investment club and all of that. And I even met when we opened our brokerage account. I went to see the actual stockbroker. You remember those stockbroker?
Yeah, yeah.
That used to be a job, and they were
Right.
making a lot of money, right? So talk to the stockbroker. That's when I realized that I was missing something, because this guy was just selling shares and stuff like that. The commission at the time, like now it's like $5 and it's automated. But in those days, it was like, it could be like $150, $200 for, it was basically a minimum fee plus a percentage, like 1.5% of the sale or the purchase of the stock. So it could be a significant amount of money. And so I knew there was a little bit of a disconnect, and that there was something else in there. And also that I was basically learning from the wrong people. I'm learning from my parents who live paycheck to paycheck. I'm learning from my teachers who's also looking for a paycheck, working for paycheck to paycheck. So I need to find other teachers. And this is when I found that my mentor at university, that's why I jumped on it, because he had figured out a way, and the people that I knew as well that was in that circle, they had figured out a way to generate passive income. They were making money without working, or working significantly. And so I knew that I wanted to learn what that was about and how to do it.
Yeah. You said something that I think is so critical, and even some of the people that are listening to, maybe they can relate to this or not, and that's, I think you're absolutely right. Sometimes we forget who we are listening to, and again, we tend to go for advice with our maybe parents, siblings, or even our close friends that have not figured that out, and we're asking them for business advice, or even relationships, right? Like sometimes we're like trying to figure out anything that might be within relationships, and their relationship is falling apart. So that's not the best way for them to either advise you, or they're going through that, right? And I think that's critical when we realize, as you did, that although I do love you, and that's one thing that I always tell people, is like, just because you don't go to your parents or your siblings or your close friends for an advice, that does not mean that you're taking away any kind of credit from them, or that you don't love them. Is that you're really just seeking for those answers that are going to help you move forward, right? And I'm also of the belief that you do need mentors or some sort of that kind of a person on your side, because they're going to be able to give you the ideas and the tools that you probably are missing, right? And so I think that's very, very critical.
Yeah, I agree. And this is why, to me, that this is actually fundamental, right? So my book is about really removing the barriers to financial freedom. And at the beginning, that's what I start with. I start with the mindset. We start with building a belief inventory. Basically, everything you really believe about money, about business, and all of that, and investment. So what are your beliefs? What have you been taught about these things? And then we build a belief filter. And the number one thing about the belief filter is the source. who is that person that taught you about business? Is this your parents that never owned a business? Well, then, why are you believing what they're telling you about it? And there's a reason for why they're teaching you certain things, and it's honorable. They want to protect you and all of that. But there comes a time where you have to kind of shed these beliefs and then create new ones that are more empowering and that are going to get you to your goals. I think that's what's important.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think, again, going back to that, the foundation of being able to work on your mind is so powerful, right?
That's right.
Because, I can teach you on how to do real estate investing. I can teach you on how to write a book. I can teach you on how to do all those things, or at least give you the tools. Yet if you don't believe that you can, or you don't have the right mindset for that, it doesn't matter which tools I'll give you. You're not going to end up moving forward with that, or you're going to end up giving up a lot sooner than you should, because obviously, that this journey, as you said, in the .com business, when you kind of got into that, you lost a lot of fortune, and you could have just given up and say, you know what, I'm going to go work for somebody else or do something else, whatever the case may be. And then never even come back to real estate, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and my wife was very surprised how well I took it, and when I lost all that money. But you have to put it's gone. It's behind you. You always look forward. Yes, you learn some lessons, and you say, okay, well, you can write them down and all of that. But yeah, you have to move forward. Say, okay, what's next? What do I need to do? And this is why I also like to do like a daily practice and really start thinking every day, start looking at what do I have to do to advance towards my goal, to walk towards my goal, and then really think about that every day. And it could be a small step, it could be all of that, but at least that, and it gives you focus as well for the rest of your day.
Right. You talked about, obviously the past, that's gone, right? There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
What would be your advice, though, to maybe somebody that is going through some sort of something where either they lost maybe the boyfriend or wife or husband or whatever left them, right? Something as big as that. Or maybe you lost a lot of money. At the end of the day, something major that happened in your life. How do you overcome that? How do you pass beyond that and know that, okay, that happened yesterday. My wife left me. My husband left me. I lost thousands of dollars. Now I'm in this position, and that's already gone. There's nothing I can do. So how do you get past that?
Yeah. And I think part of it is really focus on, it's really about kind of focusing on what you have. And it's really part of the mindset. I mean, the mindset is about, okay, well, what is under my control? What do I have? And how do I move forward with it? It's kind of a pointless exercise to look at, yesterday I had, multi-million dollars, and today I have, very little. If you lost it all, like it's kind of pointless. At least what is that you know how to make money. You just have to reapply it and then get going again. And focus on what you learned and move forward. So I think that's it. This is a critical mindset. I think if you dwell in the past, you're going to stay in the past.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out that, leave that behind, and move forward. This is a very stoic, like the stoicism. I think this is this is a very their way of thinking, or their way of thinking in the stoic way is very good, because you're always focused on the present, what needs to happen next, and what you have. So it's always about an action plan to move forward, not about dwelling in the past, and also focus on what you have under your control and not worry about everything else that's going on. Like, right now we have a lot of things about, politics and this and that. And a lot of that is out of our control, except when it comes down to voting.
Yeah.
But, so, let's not get all kind of tangled up into these narratives that are not helpful to your agenda to achieving your goal.
Yeah. And I think part of that too is, when you go through something in life, period, and although it might be painful, because I've been there, done that numerous times, and even just recently, just going through things in my life, and we all go through it. We're all human beings. We're gonna go through it one way or the other. It comes down to what is it that you do about it, and how do you react to that situation or that circumstance, right? And the other thing that I learned is that is also looking at what happened in the past, whether it was good or bad, whether it was very painful. What were the lessons that you can extract from that experience, and then utilizing those lessons to helping you achieve your next step in life, right? And so I think that's also another one that's very critical, is that going back to that, it's all part of the mindset. You understanding that and being able to say, you know what, I can definitely look at some of the lessons and let me extract whatever I can use from that to better myself in the near future, right? So, so let me ask you this: what has been one of your, talking about lessons, what has been one of your biggest lessons up to this point, or that you've encountered?
So I think for me is, well, there are quite a few, but I think one of them is really about the mindset and kind of like a stoic way of thinking as well. So that means being objective, being analytical, and really staying focused on your goals. So one of my, if you have an opportunity sometimes that's in front of you that will help you achieve your goal faster, but you have to make an important decision in order to get there, is the ability to make that decision. And one of my key example here is I had a great opportunity when I started investing in the real estate. Things were going very well. We had found the secret sauce, the secret formula, and or one of the many secret formulas that are out there. And then decided to say, okay, this is really working. This business model is working. We're going to push in that model. We're going to scale it, and say, okay, well, now we need more. As usual, we always need more money. So where do we find the money? Where's the equity, and where the funds? And the equity was actually in my home. So you can sell your home, get the equity out. I couldn't get, I had already taken the line of credit and stuff like that. And then I could also refinance, but then that would have taken a long time, and I wouldn't have been able to unlock that much more equity. So I thought, okay, well, I could sell the house, rent another house, and unlock all the equity out of that, and then invest it. A lot of people would consider that they would think their home to be something very emotional, that they're emotionally attached to, and they wouldn't be able to get rid of it in order to achieve their goal. And this is like an important kind of balancing factor. It's like, if you really want your goal, are you willing to do what it takes to achieve your goal, even if it means selling your home to achieve your goal? And this is what it is. It really changed the trajectory of our business when we did that. And we rent a house, and that renting the house actually made it was even better than we imagined. We had a bigger house, better view, and cheaper, or not cheaper, just a little bit more expensive than what the cost of owning our own home. Yeah. But so it was a great decision. But so this is so I if I was to summarize that, I would say that, focus on your goal, make the decisions that would get you closer to your goal, even if it asks you to do, if it requires you to do some sacrifice. You have to look at it a little bit more detached, more objectively, and make the decision that's going to be getting you to your goal.
So with that, how do you identify it, or I believe that that many of us, there's always opportunity knocking. You're always going to see an opportunity, except an opportunity is not going to be dressed or disguised in this. It's disguised. It's not dressed in this beautiful look. It's disguised as something maybe fearful, something that is like, so at first sight, you don't see it. And sometimes you might see it and you're kind of questioning, or you're saying yes or no, I'm not too sure. And now you get all these little voices in your head and you don't take that opportunity. I guess my thing to that is, how do you identify an opportunity and say, you know what, this might be the one? And even if it's not, how do you say, you know what, let me move forward with that opportunity? Because I feel like if you don't attempt to do something, or you don't try to do something, you're never going to learn. You know, what is that saying? You have to fail multiple times. And as you're failing, you're growing. And if you're not failing, you're not growing, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So I guess for, you know, if you were to kind of give an advice of, you know, what might feel good to say, you know what, that opportunity might be the opportunity that I need to just kind of take that leap.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I think so. First of all, I think you have to have a goal. What's your goal? And I think everybody's number one goal should be achieving financial freedom. Mm-hmm. That should be the number one. Stop trading time for money. That should be your number one goal. And then once you've achieved that and you can stop working 9 to 5, then you can do whatever you want after that. But that should be everybody's number one goal. So the next thing is really about the strategies that you're going to use to achieve that goal, and make sure that that strategy actually works. So if I'm looking to achieve financial freedom, I want to generate passive income, right? So I want to have things that, you know, generate money without me working or working minimally, and so that's what you want to do. And this is where I think a lot of problem occurs, is that there's two kinds of problems. Is that people are bringing opportunities that are hard to pass, and say, oh yeah, you can invest in this restaurant, you're going to be doing this much money, or that you can invest in this bar and you're going to make a lot of money, but you're also going to be spending, you know, 80 hours a week in that thing. Is that passive income? No, it's not passive income. So yeah, it's a great opportunity. It's kind of a lifestyle and stuff that sounds interesting, but you have to pass on that. And passing on these opportunities that are not aligned to your goal, I think this is critical. I think a lot of people feel that there's only one opportunity out there, or it's rare to find an opportunity or a strategy that makes money. There are thousands of strategies that make money. You just need to find one that works for you, that works with the resources that you have available and the capabilities that you have in terms of time, money, and skill set, and other people that can be part of your team. And then you pick these opportunities that work. You find the best one, and then if it works, if it makes money, you scale it and towards your goal.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I love that. And I have something that I called strategy planning. And it's kind of, you know, what you're talking about. And I look at it from a couple different perspectives, right? You want to be able to have, what is the overall objective? What is it that you're trying to achieve? And once you identify that, it has to be specific, right? So sometimes we tend to get lost in some general terms. So it has to be very specific as to what I want to be able to accomplish. So if I'm looking at, you know, let's just say next year, I want to make X amount of dollars, not just say I want to make more money because, you know, it's like, here's $1, you got more money, goodbye kind of thing, right? You have to be specific. So I want to make $1 million, whatever that might be, right? Yeah. And then the next thing is you want to start looking at, well, if I want to make $1 million, what are some things that I can do to accomplish that? So you're going to chunk it down and create little tasks or little strategies for that. And then the next thing is you want to be able to create specific dates against those strategies, because you want to be able to have a time against it, because it's going to put more pressure on you, right? And then with all of that, the next thing is now you're able to actually measure those strategies, and now you have what I would consider when business is KPIs, key performance indicators, that can help you measure that. And then you said something which is very critical, and it's part of one of the things that I talked about, is take action immediately, some sort of action, right? Otherwise, there's no, you know, if you don't take no action, then you know, you're never going to move forward, right? And so talking about that, you know, give me more on that, because I think that's where, again, also people get hung up on the idea of they have this thing in their head, or they have perhaps something they want to do, and then they get hung up with all of the different things or how big of a task or an assignment that might be, that they don't organize that and they don't know how to start. And so therefore they never take action and they never move forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is why I think the daily practice is important to me. I focus a lot on that, and then making sure that you work at it every day, and there's no Saturday or Sunday. It's like every day you spend half an hour thinking about what you need to do next, and then executing on that. So I think that's important. I think in my book, I talk about the fiat goal, right? So I talk about what is a good goal. A good goal is something that's going to help you focus, and so that you're going to know if you take action that's taking you away from your goal, then you're going to know about it. So something that's focusing, something that's inspiring. So that means that it's something that would really, it's not necessarily just about money. It's about kind of like, what are you going to do with that money? Like, what does that look like? And then something that's achievable, something that you're going to feel a sense of accomplishment, and then something that's trackable. So if you need to have X dollars a month in income in order to achieve financial freedom, so this is what you're going to track. And then every time you do an investment or something like that, you can see that you're getting closer and closer to that goal. And then that helps you achieve that.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. And you can see that in this, I don't necessarily have, it's trackable, and I'm kind of loose on the timeline, but because I'm focusing on the daily practice, so that you're thinking about it every day. And I want to make sure that people are motivated to take action, like you said, like every day. To take action. It's better to take action and make a mistake than not act at all, in my opinion.
Right.
So at least you're going to learn something from your accomplishment, from your lack of accomplishment, from your failure. then and you know, I had a lot of lessons learned in my life, meaning a lot of failures.
Yeah.
You know, so. Yeah.
No, I love that. And talking about so generating passive income, let's talk about what your company does, and how is that all I guess put together, and how you are able to help people that might want to get into that passive income.
Yeah. So initially we started, that's what we were doing. We started to invest in rental properties and to generate passive income. So we bought our first house in Memphis, Tennessee. And then it was great. And then we bought 2 more and all of that. And we were just thinking about us, about my family, and, you know, getting things going. I was working with my 2 sons and at the time. So that's what we were doing. But because we had done a lot of different businesses in the past. So our friends and family, other extended family, were looking at it. They were always wondering what we were doing. What are the Martels up to? And so, you know, they were wondering kind of like what we're doing again. And I said, oh, well, we're doing these passive income investments in real estate and out of state and all of that. And I said, well, like, you know, and then we started sharing numbers and all. And more people were interested in that and started wanting to invest with us. And that's when we decided to do MartelTurnkey, to create MartelTurnkey. And basically what we do, it's a true turnkey rental property. So it's typically a single family home, sometimes a duplex. And we buy that property distressed, we rent it out, we renovate it, we rent it out, and then we sell it to investors who are looking for these kinds of properties that have a tenant in place and that generate passive income. So with as little as $20,000, you can buy one of these properties, and it's going to generate about $3,000 a year in cash flow, in net cash flow. So that's after you paid the property management, because you want passive income. You don't want to get the calls from the tenants.
Right.
And then it's after financing, which is probably the other largest cost of that. And and you're generating $3,000 a year in net cash flow. So that's like 16% return on your money, on your cash. So, which is, you won't get that at the bank. And
right, definitely not.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So that's.
And are this all over the U.S., or where normally is there a specific geographical area that you focus on?
So there's two areas that we're focusing on right now, which is Memphis and Cleveland. So these are the two markets that work very well, that we have a good team on the ground. We have a construction team, property management in place for our investors. And this strategy doesn't work everywhere in the US. It doesn't work in California, for example.
Yeah.
So when we selected these markets, we looked for states that were landlord friendly. So that, if the tenant doesn't pay, this pays for my family. So I need the tenants to pay. If not, then, they need to move out. So all these things need to be, we have business diversification. We want to have to make sure that there's a low crime in the neighborhood. We're looking for B and C class neighborhoods. So this is also called the workforce housing. So people that have good jobs, blue collar workers, or lower management supervisor level jobs, and then they're looking for a home to live in near their work. So that's what we focus on.
Awesome. And with that, do the tenants have so when somebody takes something from you, a portfolio from you, are the tenants already, do they have long-term agreement, or is it a month-to-month for them, or what's the risk factor there?
It's a new tenant, and they have signed either a 1-year lease or a 2-year lease.
Awesome.
So brand new tenant, cash flowing from day one. So when we close on the property, the tenant is in place. We've done all the background check, and it's a new tenant ready to get going. So yeah, cash flowing from day one is one of our motto. That's something very important.
No, that's awesome. So just coming back to a couple of more questions before I let you go. What is one thing that I noticed, and obviously just talking to you, and even with the book that you have coming up, and some of the things that you talked about, you seem to be a very motivating person, right? And positive guy. What are the things that you do, if any, on a day-to-day basis to put you in the state of mind?
Oh, that's interesting. For me, I think it's that's right. I normally I'm like that, and I don't know how. But you have to find that right state. For me, I'm always, I am driven, and I always look forward to other opportunities and stuff like that. Doesn't mean I don't have tough days where I do work that is not that interesting, or is more like a chore. But sorry about that. But let me take a sip.
Definitely. Yeah, and even with that, do you have any particular habits? Tony Robbins talks about them as rituals, right? Any habits, daily habits that maybe you do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so for me, I do yoga every day. So that kind of helps me with get moving and get thinking and focusing up. So I'm not thinking about work when I do that. I also run. So I live here near the beach in LA. So I go run on the beach every other day, and go swim in the ocean every other day. And that gets me really energized. And sometimes my team would say a little too energized. But so that's, and it's very interesting to me, because I think that, you think you get up, you kind of tired, or your muscles are hurting and stuff like that. And you say, maybe I won't go running today, or something like that. But then you start running, or you start doing your exercise and all of that, and things fall into place, and then things happen. And then how is it that the more energy you put into your run and your swim and all of that, you come back, I don't have less energy. I have more energy than when I got up. So, and I think it's true of a lot of things that we do, or that we should be doing, is don't be afraid to put energy into things. And that energy is not going to be lost. It's going to be something, it's going to create more energy. So that's something that I've found kind of important. People tend to think, oh, this is a lot of work and all of that. No, put the work into it. It's going to be worth it. And
Yeah, that definitely, and just the part of that is, I believe too, is the universe or God, whatever you believe in, right? I believe that
Yeah.
when you put out that energy, that positive energy for sure, and you're focusing on something, you're gonna end up start seeing or getting ideas, or people are gonna come across your life without even thinking about it, because you're putting out that energy, and
Hmm.
if you're working, hustling, and doing that stuff, I do believe that eventually you're gonna see something again, that opportunity knocking on your door. You're
Yeah.
gonna see it somehow. You're gonna feel that. So if people wanted to connect with you or find out more about the things you do, where can they find you?
So the best place to find me is on Facebook. So eric.martel.ca. And so I'm going to have my book. My book should be published in the next few weeks.
Awesome.
If you want a free copy of my book, you can register on my website, marteleric.com/book.
Okay.
BOOK. So marteleric.com. And then you can register. All I'm asking is your email address and name. And then once the book is published, I'll send you the information, and then you're going to get the book for free. That email address is not going to be used for anything else beside the book. So I want to make sure that even though I have other businesses, this is strictly for the book. And then if you want to join in other things, then that's up to you. But right now, this is only for the book, and I'm not going to share
Yeah.
that mailing list with anybody else.
Okay. Awesome. I love it. I love it. And then if I can get maybe one last advice from you, you've given us a lot of great stuff now. So if somebody's going through a challenge right now, what could be one thing that they can do to start overcoming that challenge?
So challenges. So I would probably look at. Yeah, so it depends on the challenge and stuff like that. But I think you can look for resources. What are the resources that are available to you? We're not alone here. And then so reach out to other individuals that might have the experience that you're lacking, a different point of view or perspective on the challenge that you're facing that might be enlightening. And then so I think these are the two, and really kind of some of the challenges are kind of like hard to overcome. So you have to be resilient as well and continue to resolve the issue. And again, it comes down to kind of like a daily practice of really think, at least dedicating a certain amount of time every day to overcoming these challenges. So.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. No, I love it. I love it. That's definitely a good way to end this. Is there anything else that you may want to say before I let you go?
No, that's it. So yeah, if you're interested in investing in passive income, so my company is MartelTurnkey. You can find us at MartelTurnkey.com. And I mentioned my Facebook address, whatever it's called, and then my book. So yeah, once you have these three elements, then you know where to reach me. Feel free to contact me if if you need any assistance or you want to run any opportunities by me.
Awesome. Well, Eric, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you being on the show. So thank you.
Thank you, Cesar.
Yeah.
And
for the rest of you guys, do me a favor. Make sure that you check us out on YouTube, on every platform of podcasts you can think of. Make sure you come to this show right now. Leave a comment, like, share, and just get the word out, because definitely somebody needs to hear this. This is a really good message in terms of how to get into passive income, and definitely something that we need to share with other people. So I'll see you guys at the next podcast show. Have a good one. Bye.
Hi, I'm Cesar Espino, real estate investor, business coach, and consultant, and author of the book, You Can Overcome Anything, Even When the World Says No. My number is 424-501-6046. In my book, I talk about making the necessary changes to shift your mind for prosperity and certainty. Pick up your copy at Amazon. I also love helping families with their real estate and can purchase your house fast and all cash. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. My number is 424-501-6046.
Thank you for having me today. I am so glad you've tuned into this podcast. You can find me at your favorite podcast platform where you can like, subscribe, comment, and share. And to learn more about myself, my services, you can find me at www.cesarrespino.com, or you can also find me at your social media. Thanks for joining me, and I am looking forward to having you at the next episode. And know you truly can overcome anything.